shouldn't have this coffee. I'm totally gonna. Oh, we started.
And we are here. Welcome back. We are your Puck Buddy podcast, and we are drinking way too much coffee right now. So we are a little jacked up right now, but we're gonna make it through this in quick fashion. So once again, we are your Puck Buddy podcast with your host here, Cameron Che, Eddie Morad, and myself, Bo Hendrickson.
Brought to you by Folgers.
Yeah.
Drink coffee.
I don't think we can say that.
Sponsored by
So
not
if you
Starbucks.
just heard a beep, it's because we had to censor what Eddie just said.
Because it was very inappropriate and had so much to do about coffee. But yeah, so the Puck Buddy podcast, we're your hosts as always, here to provide you with expert fantasy analysis for your fantasy hockey season.
All right.
We just wrapped up week 3 of the NHL season, and moving along to week 4. So we're already past the beginning. We kind of got a good idea of who our the good players are, who's breaking out, and who's going to be steady the rest of the season. So, with that being said, let's move right on to it, to the news. What do we got going on, Cam?
Well, just one bit of news for this week. I don't know if anybody saw the fight between, or not the fight, I guess the hit from Nazem Kadri on Daniel Sedin.
Nasty Nazem.
Nasty Nazem. It was a hit to the shoulder, as determined by the NHL Player Department of Safety.
If your shoulder's in your face.
Yeah. I don't know why, but he was not suspended for the hit. I watched it several times. I believe that with his previous history, he should have had at least a 2-game suspension, but that's just me. Daniel Sedin did finish the rest of the game, so there was no apparent injury. That's probably why he didn't get anything for it, but it was pretty dirty. However, the fight and that whole entire play did end with a fight between Miller and Anderson, so that was cool.
Yeah, finally got to see a goalie fight, first one of the season.
Well, it was kind of like a 2-punch, and they started talking. So.
Yeah, and then they started hugging.
Yeah,
and
Frederick
talking.
skated all the way down, kind of hit him on the head, and he's like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you on this side?"
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I don't do anything for my team anyway. I might as well just come over here.
Yeah,
Right.
just hang out, crapo and a couple of brews and just kick it.
Miller time.
Miller time, sponsored by.
Okay, well, that's the news. Nazem Kadri, no suspension. On to injuries.
So the key injuries we got going on this week. Travis Hamonic is he's got a pretty brutal one. He took a shot to his hand, has a broken thumb, expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So that's pretty big for the New York Islanders.
That's a big loss.
He's kind of one of their their up and coming defensemen.
Yeah, he was producing for them on the reg, and then he got the ouchies.
Yeah, so for a team that's already struggling, that's a tough blow to have. Next injury, Jason Spezza. This one is a little more mystery to this one. He is, he's out with the lower body injury day to day, and we're still waiting on more news. Not much has been provided other than it's a lower body injury. So
keep an eye on him if you have him on your team because he's an important player.
They expect him to play though.
Even
though he is injured,
right?
Because they have so many injuries, they can't really afford to have him sit.
Just keep in mind that he was technically confirmed with the lower body injury, so even if he does play, that could affect his performance. So just keep an eye on him for the next couple of days.
Usually need your lower body to skate. That's
Sometimes.
Maybe if he's in a wheelchair or something, if he gets that age.
Yeah.
The paraplegics.
Yeah.
Okay, but another injury we want to get into, one that we've already mentioned before, Thomas Vanek. Before there was no timetable for his return, but now he's expected out 2 to 3 weeks with a groin/hip flexor injury. So expect him back late November. There's not much more that needs to be said than that. Just wait on him. He'll be a good pickup then, but he's fine sitting on your wire. I think if you need to have someone better for those 2 to 3 weeks. So.
He is on IR, so if you have an IR spot,
utilize it. Yeah,
utilize it.
Perfect time to do that.
Unfortunately, he's just really old at this point, so this bounce back is a little less likely. But
if you don't mind me jumping ahead
Go
well,
ahead.
just about this IR spot, another injury that is at the bottom of our list, just alphabetically. Seth Jones was just confirmed out 3 weeks with a hairline fracture in his foot. And he was placed on IR. So just the same thing, Vanek and Jones could both be utilized in your IR spot if you have that open.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are I think the only few main IRs left. 2 other notable ones. Actually, just kidding. I totally forgot about this one. Jonathan Druin. This one's actually a huge injury, one of the bigger ones of the week. He is out with a upper body injury, but it looks like he took a major hit to the head by Islanders defenseman Calvin DeHaan. They didn't really say it, but it looks like he might have gone through some concussion protocol.
Yep.
And, concussions are never bad. It had Crosby out
They're
for...
never good.
They're never bad. They're never so good that they're never bad.
Yeah. Just have him sit out a little bit and think about what he's done.
Yeah,
if he can't think.
So
It's obviously I might have a concussion the way that I'm explaining
Jonathan
this.
Druin out day to day with timeout.
He's got to think over his life.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so
Never a bad
that's huge. He should be on your IR. Throw him in there because he's definitely worth a keep. But for now, it says he's day to day. But you never know with concussions. It can go day to month real quick.
Just like if you guys remember our very first podcast, I talked about Sidney Crosby and his concussion symptoms, and they told us, or not told us, but they posted that it was day to day, and he was out for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it all depends on the player and what happens with the concussion tests. Yeah. So we'll see.
Would have been nice if they DM'd us about that. Directly let us know when he's coming.
Well, I was talking to Crosby the other day. We were just in bed watching a movie and
Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, not much chilling though. It was way too hot. Air conditioning was broken. It wasn't a very good day. Jaromir Jagr is he's not out. He had a cramp in his groin on Saturday. He left the game early, but they are saying that he's going to play this week. I'm a little bit hesitant to say that he's going to be back in full force. Jagr is getting up there in age, and you never know with those muscle tightness, especially in the groin area. So he's going to play, but we'll see how he does.
All right, I think one more to notice. Mike Fisher, the captain of the Nashville Predators, upper body injury, no details, just listed day to day for now. So he's one to watch, but not sure if he's rostered by too many teams, so it's not too big. Mm-hmm. Okay, that wraps up the injuries. So, be aware of those players, watch your IR, and throw them there if you can. So next, let's move on to the segment we've been doing week to week, the Beauts and Benders.
All right.
Yes.
So as always, we have our Beauts.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true.
So beautiful. And the Benders.
No, thank you. I shall do it.
Just do it.
Do the bender.
Do the Bender. Yeah, Beauts and Benders. So let's go right into the Beauts, the one and only, so beautiful, Ryan Kessler. I don't know
His
if he's
beard does look pretty good right now. Not gonna lie. None of you agree with me. That's fine. But
I just like the Ducks.
Ryan Kessler right now. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists, +3, 11 penalty minutes, and 4 power play points in the past. How many games?
it's like the past 3 games.
3 or 4 games,
Yeah.
something like that. I think it might have been 4.
Well, it's
what I
for
read,
week
but-
3 essentially.
Right.
So yeah, 3 or 4.
I mean, that's amazing. He's doing fantastic. He's got
Doing things.
the fact that he has power play points and penalty minutes, as well as the plus and the 3 goals and 3 assists. That's an all around great week for him. Nothing more to say about Kessler except keep going.
So then the next up we got Nikita Kucherov. He's been going off for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 3 goals, 4 assists last week with a +3 and 4 power play points. So he's kind of producing it on all cylinders right now. But I mean, this is why you drafted him high. Kucherov, one of the top producers on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So
They can fit him into any line, and he just meshes very well. He brings
Extremely
lines
well.
together.
So another Lightning that we want to mention, Victor Hedman, leading the defensemen this week with 2 goals, 3 assists, a +3, and 3 power play points. So as you can see, he's been out there with Kucherov. They've both been, meshing well together, putting up points together, and leading the Tampa Bay Lightning to a decent record right now.
It's cool because Hedman is only 25, so he's going to be the next.
He is a big dude.
I mean, I don't want to even compare him to Zendo Chara because I think Hedman's got a little more offense.
Yeah,
to
he's
his
definitely
game,
he's more skilled for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Char was just a big dude. who was
hard
tough
shot.
to get around. Yeah.
Jazad.
Yeah, they also have some decent matchups coming up this week, so you might want to start putting some Tampa Bay Lightning players into your lineup.
That's a definite yes.
Of course, they're playing the Sharks, so you know they're
The
going to be
definite
scoring a lot.
Oh yeah, this is only if Jones is playing.
Yeah, they're also playing the Islanders, who've been letting in some goals, so and they're at home in that matchup. So just watch out for those because they're good plays this week.
Well, speaking of goalies that aren't doing badly, Matt Murray.
Oh my god!
Oh,
2
what a return!
wins. Oh my, 0.5 goals against average, right? Or is it 0.05?
That's
You're
0.5.
right. It's 0.5 with a 0.985 save percentage, 1 shutout, only has 1 goal allowed. Yeah, that must be right.
Yeah.
0.5 goals against average. That's really good. That's expected of Murray.
not bad.
But he had a great week. So
The main question with him: does this performance overtake Fleury's?
this season, I think they're still gonna split starts. So if you have him, just be wary that he may not start every game. But I believe next season Murray's gonna be their number 1.
I could totally see that happening. Like he'll slowly be taking the job this season.
Through the season, yeah, like he'll probably play more of the games, right? But they still are going to be, maybe 3 on, 2 off, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because before it was more like a Vasilevsky kind of situation where he had like 30% of starts and Marc-Andre Fleury had 70%. But with such good play, they have to play him.
It'll be 60-40, I'm sure.
It's got to be
Murray's
50-50, 60-40. Yeah, it's going to be very evenly split. So whenever he starts, you start him. And especially this week, they got plus matchups. They got Edmonton coming up. They have Minnesota. And these are all home games, too. So they do much better at home. And they have Toronto. So look to start
It's looking
Matt Murray
good
this
for
week.
Matt
Pretty
Murray.
good.
Yeah.
Lastly,
Corey Crawford,
the Craw.
the dirty Craw. The Blackhawks in general are on a tear right now.
They're killing it.
They got-
6-game win streak.
Yeah, and this week he got 3 wins, a 1 goal against average, a .97 save percentage, and he's going off. I mean
What really helped is them fixing their power or their PK.
Yeah.
Because their PK, they're
were
worst in the
awful.
league
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year. Now they've completely turned that around. And
Yeah.
Corey Crawford's getting his well-deserved wins from that. So
it's fun watching the Blackhawks game because you just hear the announcer the whole time. Like, save! Big save, Crawford! Call the cops!
That was my favorite.
That's
But
a
I
good
think
one.
just really quickly to mention what we did about Matt Murray and Marc-Andre Fleury. Quay Crawford has Darling as his backup, but they're not in the same tandem as Murray and Fleury are. So Crawford is going to be starting a lot more games, even though Darling's not bad.
probably like 80-20.
Yeah, I would say Crawford's going to start a lot more. So
But if you have Crawford, I would pick up Darling. Just because they're both going to get wins. The Blackhawks are doing
Amazing.
well as a team. It's not,
Yeah.
and Darling did start, and he had a great start, and he got
Right.
the win as well. So
He'd be a nice handcuff.
handcuff, yeah,
If anything happens to Corey Crawford, Darling would be
got
a
a good
solid
backup there.
backup.
yeah.
All right,
So
well, let's move on to the people
So
that
let's
didn't do so hot.
Yeah, and what are those again?
Yeah, Beauts.
The Benders.
First time doing drops is not going well.
you dropped the ball on that one.
For real.
You know who else dropped the ball? Johnny Goodrow.
And
Oh, man.
and Monahan, you can just throw that in there too.
I'm gonna throw Monahan, yeah, but we all know that.
We all
But
know that. It's so
let's do the same team: Johnny Goodrow and Mark Giordano. What's happening?
The Flames are off
Flames
to
are
an
just awful.
awful start. They might want to think about changing their franchise name because they are not flaming up. They're not on
It's
fire.
like the embers,
The Coles.
the ashes, and they're hoping that a phoenix will rise someday. But at this point,
There's just
not
pigeons
gonna happen.
pooping on their ashes. Right?
Well, let me get into the actual stats so you guys know what we're talking about. Gaudreau, 1 assist, -6, only 5 shots.
That's the only
That-
stats he's
but those
got.
literally are the only numbers he has put up for the stat sheet this week. Giordano has no goals, no assists, -2, although he does have 2 penalty minutes, 6 shots, and 7 hits. So Giordano did something, I guess.
Much better than
Yeah.
Goudreau, but
Still awful.
This is tough for a Flames team right now. I mean, honestly, with those 2 players, what are you doing? Like, can you wait on them the whole season? Do you?
I mean,
Like, it's tough with these guys.
And stuff. You can't drop them, that's for sure.
You
You can't drop either of them, and
If you can find value for them, if there's a Flames, someone who likes the Flames,
You may wanna
they would
trade.
they would value them much higher than they're worth
Yeah.
right now.
But
But if you can find someone that likes the Flames, that was awesome. So,
Yeah, you're not gonna be friends with them, obviously.
no.
But no,
So those
they're a decent team. It's just it sucks to see them doing so bad. Unfortunately, you're gonna get the lowest value if you trade them right now. I think you just gotta hold them. Hope that they get on a little bit of a point tear, and
Yeah.
maybe look to move them at that point.
Because you won't be able to trade them
You can't
for anything
You're gonna get
worthwhile
such
at
a
this
low
point.
value.
But get ready to if they start ramping up because.
Yeah.
Well,
But then you're also looking at would you want to keep them at that point?
I mean, I guess we'll readdress that at another date if they start to ramp up and see if that's a good time to trade, a good time to keep, or whatever we want to do with
Yeah.
him.
At this point, if you
Yeah.
have these players, we're just feeling bad for you.
Yeah, that's all we're doing.
Exactly.
You know who else we feel bad for? Those who own Logan Couture.
I'm sorry.
Those who
and
are
for the
obsessed
Sharks
with
in
Logan Couture. Those who have a doll of Logan Couture.
Those who drafted Logan Couture second in our draft.
He has no goals or assists, -4 and only 13. I guess he has 13 shots, but still, that's his only stat from Logan Couture that he's not playing as well as he could.
No, not
And
at all.
It's not going to get much easier coming up this
yeah.
week. Yeah, their schedule is looking pretty tough. They're on their road trip right now. They're playing a Florida team that has been but their goaltending has been really good. But they're also playing Tampa Bay at home.
Yeah, and they're starting off versus the Capitals too.
Oh my God, yeah, the Capitals is going to be a tough.
This is going to be a rough road trip for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, you might consider sitting Couture this week.
Yeah, it would not be a bad idea if you have better options.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move into a couple of defensemen here. Overall, just the Nashville defensemen in general. Roman Josi, PK Subban have combined for a goal and assist and a -2. Let me repeat that. Goal assist and a -2 for this week.
Combined.
And you know who is doing better than them right now? Matt Irwin.
Matty Ice.
Matty Ice Irwin. He has 4 points right now. That's more than the entire Nashville Predators
Only in
defense
3
this
games.
week. In
He scored
3 games.
4 goals
I
in
know.
3
This
games.
entire week, that is
Or was that
that
when he
is
was on the
embarrassing.
Sharks?
I mean, if we knew this, we would recommend Matt Irwin, first overall pick
Yeah.
at the beginning of the season. Just kidding. Matt Irwin is awful. You should not pick him up.
No, most valuable ginger. He's surpassing the City
The-
twins. Corey Schneider.
Is-
He's getting up there.
He is. He's working his way.
Eric Carmen. I don't think Eric Carmen is a ginger at all. He just
Remember that when he...
when he dies,
yeah.
yeah, he becomes a ginger. That's great.
Now, I'm
Kyle
going to talk about
Buffalo.
the last two if you guys don't mind because they are both my goalies.
Go ahead. I don't even want to
lucky
touch
man.
Martin.
So
Really sad.
I decided to get 2 goalies very early on, thinking that I was going to be all set and ready to go. But this is how these things go. This is how versatile the NHL Fantasy League can be. You can get 2 goalies very early on that suck, and you're not to blame. It's totally Eddie and Bo's fault. So it's Corey Schneider and Martin Jones. Corey Schneider lost lost 2 games this week, both games this week. 3.88 goals against average and a .897 save percentage.
You could say he's on a little bit of a losing schneid.
Yeah. 3 goals allowed in all of his last 3 games. Martin Jones has lost all 3 games this week with a 3.99 goals against average and an .847 save percentage. 4 goals allowed, and at least 4 goals allowed in each of his last 2 games.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to say anything else. Just hit me. Ow.
So now me and Eddie are going to be doing this podcast alone as Cam has been knocked out. And his his goalie woes over here.
Woes.
So that pretty much wraps up the Beauts and the Bens. I won't do the drops for you again because I might mess them up. But with that, let's actually just hop right into the waivers now, guys.
Okay.
Waivers are always an important part of the week. You need to know what players to be picking up right now. The ones that are
Maybe
on
watching,
some major hot streaks. Some players that might be performing the rest of the seasons. And if you have a couple of the Logan Coutures, the Johnny Gaudreaus, you might need some other players to kind of hold their spot while they're
Pick up the slack.
Yeah, pick up the slack for your team. So let's move right into it. Does someone else want to start it off right away?
Sure. I'll start with Nazem Kadri because we already talked about him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
it's tough. Like right now, he's been doing really well, and I was actually reading an article off Sportsnet, and it was written by Stephen Birch, and it was talking about Kadri and his new role in the Maple Leafs because they're just such a young team, and right now he's looking really good. He's scored a lot, and he's on the top of the waiver pick, but he's actually 470th in the NHL shooting percentage, which is last amongst qualified skaters who have scored at least one or more goal this year. So he is at 1.2%. Normal scoring percentages are at 10%. So it's not looking too good, and the reason this is because he has had 36 of his last 81 shots come from high or medium danger areas on the ice, and the rest are coming from low percentage scoring areas. So he's just taking like random shots, and he's just trying to get shots on net, and it doesn't matter where they're coming from. At this point, it's not the best because he's not getting goals and it's not producing, but he has been producing the 10th most scoring chances per 20 minutes because he's been taking so many shots.
And
so
I
it's
think
good to
the
hear.
shots too for your stats. So that's something to keep in mind, that even if the shots aren't high percentage, the fact that he's getting shots, if you need shots, you know what I mean? That's something to keep in mind when thinking about him.
Yeah, and he's been stepping into his a leadership role on this team. He's been taking double the amount of shots from the previous season per 20 minutes, from 2.47 to 4.59, which is really good. So the main issue is just like his production and his efficiency has been down. So he's a good pickup, and you might want to ride him right now, but just be aware that he hasn't been in this role before. He's never been in a role where he's had to like pick up the production.
So we kind of don't know really what to expect from
exactly,
him.
But it's good to see that he's been taking so many shots and been trying to lead these youngsters.
I think what you just said, that he increased his shot total double from last season. You think about that. With the new role he's in, that he has to produce, and he's kind of getting into his own spot, on this team, being a leader. I think that the production will follow.
Yeah.
The amount of shots he's taking, I think, the young talent on this team, I think the production will come. That's just me, because I think you already have all of these shots. That's great. He gets hits.
I mean,
even if they're dirty.
Yeah.
And I think the production's going to come.
Yeah, and he's also getting you those penalty minutes too. I mean,
with
those dirty hits.
The 5 minute last game, so I mean, there you go. That's 5 right there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's in our waivers for a reason. I'm just putting out some numbers just so you're aware of like where he's coming from this year as opposed to previous years and why he might be delivering.
For sure.
Definitely taking a step in a good direction for the Maple Leaf organization.
And then just feeding right off of that, because he's on the same team as Mitchell Marner. He's a center right wing, so he's got the dual position, which is great. He's 19 years old, so he's actually a rookie this year too. So many rookies on this team. He's had 8 points in 11 games, with 4 of those coming the past 2 games. So he's been on a kind of a little tear right now. He's currently on the second line with JVR and Tyler Bozak, which is actually the second most prolific line in the NHL the past 10 games. Nice. So that's really impressive. That line has been killing it. They averaged third in shot attempts, 4. And another bonus for Marner is that his line has been seeing the most power play time on the Maple Leafs with 33.3%, as opposed to the next highest line with Matthews, Nylander, and Hyman with 19%. So Marner will get you shots, and he's also got a ton of upside with the power play. So you should keep an eye on Mitchell Marner from the Maple Leafs. So those are my guys.
Marner and Kadri.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Definitely.
You want to throw in one more name, Eddie?
Sure.
Before me and Cam take the wheel?
Yeah, I'll throw in my last one. Richard.
Richard.
Don't be such a Ricard, man.
Yeah, don't be such a Ricard. Never go full Ricard. Yeah, okay. Ricard Raquel. He is another one that I'm looking at, and he has been playing very well on the top line in Anaheim. So right now he's 25% owned. The only reason why he's a little, I'm not picking him up right away is because he's a center, and only a center. He doesn't have dual flexibility in that area, which there's a lot of great centers, so it's tough to have to drop someone for that. But Raquel has had 6 points in his last 4 games. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists. He's been playing on the top line with Corey Perry and Sgarbosa. I can never pronounce it. Sgarbosa. Thank you. Captain Sgarbosa. But, so, yeah, he's been playing on the top line. He's been seeing the most power play time. And this is incredible. That top line has been seeing 72.7% of all the power play time from the whole team. The rest of the units, all of the other 3 lines have been seeing 9.1%. And that's including like Getzlaf and like big names like that. So Raquel's been seeing a ton of time on the power play. Last year, he reached the 43-point mark with Anaheim, and if he keeps doing what he's doing right now, he's going to definitely reach the 50-point mark for the first time in his career. This is a guy you need to keep a lookout for. If you need a centerman, definitely look to maybe pick him up and ride him while he's hot right now. But at the very least, keep him on a watch list.
Most definitely. Okay, these next couple of names we're going to give you right here are actually all from the exact same team, and with good reason. So this team that we're about to talk about is currently riding they're an 8-1 at home. They have a 10-3 overall record, and the craziest thing is they are leading the leagues in goals for. They have 55 goals for.
I know who this isn't. The Sharks.
You couldn't be more right.
They scored 7 against the Sharks.
That's true. Oh my God, I forgot.
And they've actually put up more than 5 goals in their past 5 games.
5 games.
So if you don't know who we're talking about the New York Rangers. This week they're going to be a hot topic. They're
going to be at Hot Topic signing autographs.
Exactly.
So head over there.
And scoring more goals too.
Go New York Rangers!
But yeah, the New York Rangers, man, they're on one right now. They are destroying every team they play. So their last 10 games, they've been 8-2, won the past 5. So these New York Rangers, man, we're gonna be giving you a lot of names, and you gotta pick up these names while you can.
We'll go through them quick though.
Yeah, we will. So the first one I'm gonna give you guys, or actually it's gonna be more of a line in general. It's gonna be the third line, surprisingly, of the New York Rangers, and that's gonna be with Kevin Hayes, Michael Grabner, and JT Miller. So they might not all be on the waiver wire just because I know JT Miller was a big name last week. But the ones that I want to get into right now are Kevin Hayes and Michael Grabner. So Kevin Hayes plays a center and right wing role. He is currently, what is he? He is 28% owned. That's not much at all for a guy who currently in the past 5 games has 4 goals and 5 assists and a +9. Like that's ridiculous right there. Like not even first line players can get those type of numbers. Mm-hmm. And he's currently riding a 4-game goal scoring streak, and in his last 5 games he's had 2 multi-point games. So he's playing good. You got to keep on riding Kevin Hayes, keep on riding that steed. Feed him some hay to the Hayes, and just take this man to the promised land because he'll lead you there. And then his other line mate that I mentioned, Michael Grabner, 5 goals, 2 assists in the past 5 games, also a +9. I mean, this whole line is pretty much going to be in the plus double digits soon. So try to get him while you can. He also has a 3-point multi-point games in the past 4 games. Got a hat trick versus Tampa Bay. So yeah, I cannot tell you how much this line is on fire. So once again, Kevin Hayes, Michael Grabner. You gotta grab him before someone else grabs him.
You gotta grab the Grabner, dude.
Yeah.
Always gotta grab the Grabner.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was looking up Kevin Hayes' production, and it's gone down steadily. But he's only played 3 seasons or 2 seasons. This is his 3rd season, and his first season he had 45 points, and then his second season he had 36. So you can maybe see him get back up to that. Like his ceiling is
like a sophomore slump.
Yeah, exactly. So
he could be up to 50 points.
It's definitely a time to see. Yeah, it might be up to 50 points exactly.
No, it's possible. So especially while this line is playing hot, you got to get a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cam, who are your lovely Rangers that you want to mention?
All right, so I'll go real quick. I got Jimmy Vesey and Derek Stepan.
Yeah.
So
and we mentioned VC last week. So
VC,
continuing.
I'm just gonna continue really quick. In 13 games so far, he has 6 goals, 4 assists, +5, and 3 power play points. Those are his highlights. The only thing for me is he only has 1 assist in the past 3 games, which is a little troubling considering that they have 5 goals.
Yeah.
At least 5 goals in those 3 games.
A lot of production.
So for me, he's my weakest selection out of these forwards for waivers, but he's still producing a lot. He is a rookie. He is young, so I don't know if he's going to be able to keep his production up throughout an 82-game season. He's never played in the NHL level at this speed, this size, the amount of games, the travel, etc. But he's still someone to consider if you're looking for a left wing. Stepan, 13 games, he has 1 goal and 9 assists. However, he has 24 shots, and in the last 5 games, he has 1 goal and 4 assists. Last year, Stepan had 53 points in 72 games. I see him at least getting that much. So you need to pick him up. He's a center. Unfortunately, just a center.
Yeah.
But he's still a center, and he's great. If you need someone to cover that center spot. Yeah, those are my two.
Yeah, and just to also note, both those guys are on the same line with Rick Nash. They're actually the first line, so they should be the most dominant line on the New York Rangers.
Yeah, they haven't been at this point, but with Nick Rash, when you got that nasty rash.
Yeah. Also, to note, the Rangers have a very good matchup coming this week, so you want to play all your Rangers. They're playing all the Canadian teams, which, Canadian teams are great, but they're not playing the Habs, so that's always good. They're playing,
the rest of the Canadian teams.
The rest of the Canadian teams.
I got it. They're playing Vancouver first, then they're playing in Calgary next, and then they're playing in Edmonton, so they're just sweeping through Canada, and they're going to sweep all the Canadians teams.
Yeah,
so.
You definitely should play them against those plus matchups.
Yeah. So let's look at a couple of defensemen now that we gave you pretty much the entire Rangers team. Let's throw out another Rangers if we haven't had enough yet. What are you holding onto over here, Cam?
Well, his name's Nick, and I am holding on to him. Nick Holden. That was terrible. I'm sorry. Nick Holden. We should have had something better for you guys. In 12 games, that was 1 goal and 6 assists.
You don't deserve that.
Yeah, 12 games.
He's better than that.
Yeah, 1 goal, 6 assists, and 22 hits. Not bad, but he was plus 13. The biggest thing for me is Nick Holden was projected at 210 for preseason fantasy, and now he's at 132. I think
pretty good.
He's doing pretty well. Once again, he's on a Rangers team that's doing very well. I would not consider Nick Holden to be a top 4 defenseman, but for someone like me who likes to run 5, he is a very solid 5th defenseman for me.
Those peripherals are really good.
Yeah, he gets 22 hits. The plus minus is great, and he's picking up a lot of assists. So this is someone that, for a fourth maybe, but 4th or 5th defenseman, definitely go for it.
He's definitely not holding back anymore.
That was better.
You should go straight to your pick, Bo.
Let's go straight to it, guys. Mark Streit. We mentioned him last week.
I know you guys can't see me, but I'm holding the bridge with my nose.
He's furrowing his brow and making a stank face at us.
I really wish there was a guy named Furrow or Stank.
That's my bad, guys.
All right, anyway.
But yeah, Mark Streit. We mentioned him last week. I'm going to mention him again. He's continuously putting up points. He's at 3 goals, 6 assists, and 5 power play points with 24 shots. So he's throwing it on net. He's producing on the power play. And, at this point, you're not going to find much better, fantasy defenseman on the wire right now. Mm-hmm. Especially someone who's on the first power play unit and on such a power play heavy team like the Philadelphia Flyers. Mm-hmm. So, and also another thing I want to mention, he's got a juicy next week. He's playing Detroit in his first game. He's playing at Toronto, and then he's wrapping it up with Minnesota. So, super juicy. And, just got to take advantage of that while you can. Mark Streit.
Mm-hmm. All right, my guy, going to a guy with a crazy cool name, Hampus Lindholm. Mr. Hampus. Hampus recently, he didn't start the year with the Ducks because they were just negotiating his contract, getting his visa worked out. But he's finally signed up with the Ducks again. He's a great puck possession defenseman. His Corsi has been above 50% in all 3 seasons he started with the Ducks, which is amazing. They've controlled the puck very well when he's on the ice. And he's been a 30-point defenseman in all 3 seasons as well. So his point production isn't like up there with the top tier players, but with a Corsi like that, and they're going to be probably using him on the power play, that's going to be where they want to have possession. He's definitely someone who's going to have a lot of upside. The Ducks will be leaning on Lindholm to provide support on the back end and create offensive opportunities, especially because they've been struggling a little bit. So he's someone to keep an eye on. Definitely someone I would probably pick up and just have like as a stash or a stowaway in deeper leagues.
I gotta be honest, from between those 3 for just straight point production, I might do Lindholm.
Really?
Yeah. Over Streit.
I like Streit a lot.
I like Streit, but I think Lindholm has more potential with the Ducks.
He hasn't played yet, so we'll see, I guess. Just keep an eye on him.
Yeah. I said potential.
We'll
see. We'll see.
I agree with Cam there, actually. I think he's a better rest of season player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked to many of Ducks fans. I know you guys probably don't want to be friends with me anymore, but I've talked to a couple of Ducks fans.
Just think less of you, that's all.
Yeah, it's expected. But Lindholm is, they see him as the future. They see him as their top defenseman for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's reason to that. So, I mean,
Over Fowler?
Yeah, over Fowler. A lot of people I've talked to, when the contract negotiations were going on, they were actually hoping they would move Cam Fowler's, his contract.
Oh, really?
They would rather them trade Fowler to open up space for Lindholm.
I did not
Then
know that.
get rid of
Then
him.
get rid of
That's
Lindholm.
interesting, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Fowler has the best name in the NHL, in the world probably. I don't know
So Foul.
who else has the same
Blur.
first name.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Legend.
accusing. Okay.
I was like,
All right.
Got him.
Well, goalies, I actually didn't pick one this week, so I'm going to let you guys do this one.
thanks for leading us into that.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
I know he didn't pick a goalie, but you pick hard?
This pick was hard to pick hard, but yeah, I picked Pickard, Calvin Pickard. If I haven't said it enough, I picked Calvin Pickard. Pickard.
You pick a Pickard.
So,
Picking a Pickard.
if anyone doesn't know, Pickard is Varlamov's backup on the Colorado Avalanche.
And he needs a backup.
Oh my god, it's been horrible. Like, watching the Avalanche play is so bad.
He doesn't need a backup. He needs a factory reset, dude.
Send him
Because
back.
Varlamov is a lot better than I feel like they've been playing.
Send him back to Ovechkin. Be like, something's wrong with this, sir.
Yeah.
We need another one.
Because all great hockey players go through Ovechkin to come to the States, yes.
Actually,
So-
all Russians come
yeah.
through Ovechkin to come to America.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's how Kuznetsov came.
He's like, you allow Ovechkin? Okay, you come play. You play.
But, so with Varlamov on his little slump right now and the Avs not producing, Pickard has been their savior in some of these games. I'll just talk about how he did last season because he only played 20 games. He's just handcuffed for as long as he's been playing. But he posted a .922 save percentage with a 2.56 goals against average. That's not bad, with the Avs, of course.
yeah.
His quality start percentage has actually been really good. It's been consistently posted above 600, which is amazing, actually, for quality starts. And that's in his previous 2 seasons. In his 3 starts of this season, he has 3 wins. And then he also has come in for Varlamov when he got pulled after allowing 5 goals, and he didn't let in a single one.
Right, yeah.
So he has a .946 save percentage, including 1 shutout, and that's over half their wins. So he is definitely a cuff you'll want, or at least even to just pick up and start in spot starts, because the Avs have been struggling, but when he plays, they win. They've won all the games he's played. So I don't expect him to keep up that save percentage, and I don't even know if he could be their starter. I don't know if he could handle the workload. But in the position he's in right now, he's a great start, and I would totally play him in a lot of their good matchups. So
I agree.
Someone to look out for.
100%, yeah.
This is definitely a good option.
Someone else you haven't heard about in any
Yeah.
of our podcasts.
Not at all. Yeah, just to mention him once again, Jimmy Howard. We can keep on mentioning him every week until he's above 50% owned. But yeah, he's right at where he's always been. He's putting up solid games. I think the most goals he's allowed in a single game is 2 goals. Not many other goalies in the league could say that right now. And I mean, Mrazek right now has not been looking good, not at all. There's multiple games where Howard has had to actually come in relief of him, and think even in those games played, like they played one game against Florida, they ended up losing 5-2, but Howard came in and only let in 1 goal.
He faced 14 shots and only let in 1 goal, so
Yeah.
he had above a .900 save percentage in relief. I mean, and
Yeah.
all those 14 shots were in the 3rd period. That's really sad. But
It's just like when he doesn't have the starting role, he's like, oh, wait, I could, I don't have anything on my back anymore.
I guess I could do.
I'll just make Mrazek look real stupid for being named the starter now.
And he does it very well.
So
Yeah.
well.
But yeah, Jimmy Howard, still don't know how he's sitting on the waiver wire. But if you need a goalie, just someone to start, I know the Red Wings aren't looking as good right now, but Jimmy Howard is still putting up solid goals against and save percentage. So eventually they'll get back on that winning streak if he keeps on putting up numbers like these. So it'll happen eventually.
I'll have a few things to say in our later podcasts, but he's definitely someone I would pick up for now, and especially if he gets the good starts. Like this week they're playing Vancouver, that would be a great start for him. I would not start him against Montreal in Montreal. That would be a tough one. And they're also
Unless
playing,
Montoya's playing.
Yeah, obviously.
And all the Columbus
10
Blue
goals.
Jackets come and
Play for the Red Wings. Yeah.
Can we talk about just 1 second?
Yeah,
Give Cam his
So
moment.
give me 1 moment. The Columbus Blue Jackets, all right, they wasted the rest of their goals the rest of the season. But it was fun, and it was great. Moving on.
Now that you said that, there's one stat that I thought was pretty cool. So I was looking at Montreal and just how they perform goals for and goals against. So Montreal currently stands at 28 goals against. That means if they did not play the Columbus Blue Jackets, they would have 18 goals against.
Who's the next highest?
Dude, the next highest I think is like I see 25. 25 is the next highest.
21 is Columbus.
Oh yeah, 21 is Columbus. So pretty much Columbus was like, we have to have the least goals against. And
Because we
Montreal's
can't score, except they did score. So just want you guys to know that when I picked Columbus beginning of this year, the first podcast, I told you so.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
But all right, I think
pretty great.
now that Cam's got that off his chest,
I feel so much better, guys.
yeah. Now we can move into our final segment. I think right now we need to call upon Admiral Akbar and get this segment started.
It's a trap.
What?
Bo, get off the table.
Oh, it's still a trap!
All right, well, as Bo continues to twerk over in the corner, I'm going to talk
stop.
about my guy
I won't
real
stop.
quick. Actually, I have a couple, but let me start off with someone just really quick. We mentioned him earlier, Matt Irwin.
The ginger snap.
He scored 3 goals and 1 assist in 4 games played and is a +3 through 5 games played. So I don't see this continuing, but... I mean, yeah, all you have to say is with the Sharks, we know him very well. He had 19 points in 2 seasons. He played 62 games in the first and 53 in the second. I guess that's not terrible as far as points per game for his quality defenseman, but the fact that he's leading, the Preds in
Shows a
4
lot
or 5 games.
how the
for this
Preds are
week.
doing.
That's just really
Yeah.
bad. Basically, really quick, this thing is about, it's a trap waivers. Don't pick up Matt Irwin thinking he's going to be the next PK Subban. He's not. As simple as that.
Yes.
My next person...
Not
Actually,
nearly.
I want to throw in one
Oh,
quick thing,
yeah, no
just
worries.
because I thought this was pretty key. So, like you said, he has 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it on 5 shots. So that is
His shooting percentage is
Ridiculous.
way better than who were we talking about earlier that had a really bad one? Than Kadri. Wow.
Yeah.
crazy.
He's just.
So
got
that's
that scope
unrealistic
on
for the rest of the season.
Yeah, don't.
I don't think much more needs to be said.
Now,
said.
however, if we record next week and he has more than 10 goals, I will personally take a shot of whatever substance you guys want me to take a shot of, as long as it's alcohol and as long as it's vodka.
Eddie's pee.
After a hard night of drinking.
Yes.
I'm totally kidding.
Completely sterile.
Totally kidding, guys. Don't get us in trouble. Anyway, my next person, really quick, is calamari. I love calamari. It's deep fried. It's octopus. Sorry, Mike Camilleri. 11 games. He has 3 goals, 3 assists, and 8 penalty minutes. Not bad, right? Well, actually.
Drop Ovechkin for him.
Yeah. However, all 3 of his goals, he had a hat trick that happened on Sunday. He is a scorer. He really is. But don't expect 3 goals per weekend from this guy. I think Camilleri will get, back on his feet. But I would say it's a trap this week. Don't pick him up because of what just happened on the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he just did it without getting any of his other teammates points too.
It was all unassisted.
It was
He
all
just
yeah.
random shots that were just screened that happened to go in.
Some of them were snipes though, like that one
But-
where it got dropped to him. And he's just like whipped it top.
But it was screened.
It was screened.
So for me, after I watched the extended highlights, I watched everything, all 3 of those goals. Don't pick him up just from what happened this past couple games.
He's extremely selfish and doesn't like sharing points with the rest of his teammates.
Not at all. One guy that I wanted to mention that I'm actually making not a trap.
Untrap him?
I'm untrapping.
You've released him from the trap?
I have, and I was talking. Yes.
You are free!
He's free to go. I'm letting him out of the trap. And last week we talked about Damon Severson, and I'm now officially taking him out of the trap. He has He has strung together a 3-game point streak, and before being held pointless against Carolina on Sunday. But He has 2 goals and 7 assists on the season. His Corsi has been around 50%, which is,
That's
I
not
really
bad.
like that.
Yeah.
I always like defensemen who can, have offensive possession. And it's slowly climbing each game, which is really good. His total ice time has even increased from 18 minutes to 20 minutes. So the coaches are even trusting him more to play. And he has been seeing way more of the power play time. He's been seeing 46.9% among all defensemen on the New Jersey Devils. He's also been, like I said, getting increased ice time and power play time. And I think he's going to break his previous high of 21 points. So expect him to break past that 30-point mark. And I think he's a good ad now. So I would take him.
Only one thing to say.
Yes.
He is playing in front of gosh darn Schneider.
Yes.
So, if Schneider continues to be as crappy as he's been for me, it's possible that Severson's plus minus will be crappy for you.
Always
That
possible.
sounded like a commercial. Like,
Yeah.
Sponsored by Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, joining together to make America terrible once again.
Make Schneider great again.
Yeah, please.
Get off the schneid.
I don't know, just to mention the last guy real quick.
Sure. One more thing about Severson.
Oh, yeah.
He's only 25% owned.
Yeah,
He
but-
should be in our waivers. I mean,
But he's one of the most added players in the league. He's
Recently,
18%
yeah.
added in like one
The
day.
Yeah,
18
I don't-
increase was ridiculous.
yeah, I said plus 18 in the plus 8 in the last
week or
yeah,
day.
18 in the last week plus 8 in the last day.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it 8 in the day? Oh,
Yeah,
I read
so-
18 in the day.
I read
and I was
18,
like,
So he is skyrocketing. So get him quick. Get him while he's hot.
Yep.
all right, last one of our trap waivers is Dennis Seidenberg. Really quick, he in 12 games has 4 goals, 4 assists, plus 10, and 12 penalty minutes. That sounds awesome, and I hope that continues for him. The only reason he's in trap for me is though he had 2 of those goals, all 4 assists, plus 5, were all in the last 4 games. So he's on a hot streak, but I don't think that streak's going to last more than another game to 2 games most.
I agree with you. I want to throw in a couple more numbers. Not only is he on the third D line, he isn't on any power play.
Oh, that's right. I'm
units.
sorry.
I really wanted to mention that because that just shows very little upside for Seidenberg. His Corsi is 43.2%. That's very low. And in his past 4 seasons, he hasn't broken past 50%. And that's not what you want to hear for someone that has been picked up off the waiver a lot
Yeah, he's a
recently.
hot-
And I think the fact
commodity.
that he's not on any power play, the fact that he's scoring those goals is even more indication that it is a fluke because the coaches aren't seeing those goals and aren't putting him on the power play means that they don't think it's going to continue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And last
So-
season, he only had 3 goals and 11 assists in 82 games. He didn't miss a game, and he had just that many points. The good thing is, one thing that will show more of his upside if you want to take a risk on him is the third line of the New York Islanders defense has seen 22.4% of the ice time, which is very good actually.
As long as they're playing.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Islanders are doing so bad that they're just trying to put out people. That line has been more of the shutdown line.
Yeah.
And they haven't been scoring. They've been getting scored on. So they're just trying to seal up the holes kind of thing. Try not to get let in too many more on Halak. But he has a 91.5% on ice save percentage in all situations. So that's actually really good. And going back to him being a shutdown defenseman, and because of this, Coach Jack Capuna, I can't pronounce his name, but the coach has been wanting to put him in more situations, has been playing him more.
So I guess next week, if he has earned power play time, we may revisit this, or the next coming weeks. But for right now, he's on it's a trap.
Yeah, definitely a trap. Just watch out for him.
He ain't getting released this week.
Nope, in the jaws.
He ate the cheese and everything. All
He's
right.
the one.
Oh, I was thinking a bear trap. Ooh, that's more. Okay. Anyway.
Depends how big he is.
Yeah, he's not that big of a.
Severson was a little guy, so we were able to,
A little bear trap. Little bear trap.
let him
Just
go.
severs him.
Here. You severed the
You
Severson.
severed my son!
You severed my son.
That's really awful. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, I think is that it? Are we?
Yeah, you guys want to wrap it up?
Well, the coffee is really, really getting to me. So I think you guys know what happens next.
Pee break.